Okay, Karan, can you hear me? Am I audible, Karan? Okay, Karan, can you hear me? Yes, I think you can hear me now. Yes, yes, I can understand you can hear me. Okay. I actually brought the video live because I know that you have exam tomorrow, and if I make a normal video, it will take time in editing. That is why I'm bringing live. Okay, I was not sure whether you would join or not, but thank you so much for joining. That's okay. Okay, so self-made man, men, full story explained in both English and Hindi for class 9 additional English. This is my name. Okay, Shivam is also here. Welcome to the channel, Shivam. Okay, those who have exams and those who want. Okay, so story in short. Okay, story in short. So when the story begins, we see that two successful businessmen meet each other in a first class restaurant. Okay, they looked good and they wore heavy signet rings and broad comfortable waistcoats. Okay, so two successful businessmen, one is Robinson, another is Jones. I hope you all know the names. One is Robinson and the other's name is Jones. Okay, so these are the two very successful rich businessmen. Okay, they meet each other and they are sitting in a first class restaurant, a very expensive restaurant. Okay, वो लोग बहुत एक expensive restaurant में बैठे हैं. Barun Ghosh, yes, thank you to you too actually for requesting me to bring the video. Okay, so they meet in a very expensive restaurant. Okay, two businessmen. Now they were wearing very expensive things also, like they were wearing heavy signet rings. Okay, heavy signet rings and broad comfortable waistcoats. So their rings and waistcoats were very expensive and they looked good also, well fed. In the story you'll see that there is uh, a word called well fed. Well fed मतलब हम लोग बोलते हैं ना खाते पीते खानदान के. Okay, so they were very well fed and they wore heavy signet rings. Okay, I've covered the entire story. Okay, so it won't be difficult for you to understand. You just need to give a reading for fill in the blanks and all these things. Okay, so they started talking and waited for the waiter in order to give their order. So they started talking with one another. Okay, and they were waiting that the waiter would come and take their order. Okay, so they were waiting for the waiter also so that they could give their order. Okay, then they started to talk of their early days of struggle in New York. So they were talking, actually when they were talking, their topic of discussion was that their early days when they first came to New York, how they started their life, how much money they had with them, what they used to do. So they started talking about all these things. Okay, so they started to talk of their early days of struggle in New York. So when they actually came to New York for the first time, both the men, Robinson and Jones, they had to struggle a lot. Okay, in the initial days of their life. Okay, and also how each of them started his life. So दोनों ने कैसे अपनी जिंदगी की शुरुआत की, how they started their life, what kind of struggles they had faced during their early days. They started discussing about that. Okay, now Robinson told Jones that he had only 15 cents with him when he first came to New York. So Robinson started speaking first. Okay, Bishwajit. Okay, Bishwajit is there. Okay, welcome Bishwajit. All right. So Robinson told Jones that he had only 15 cents with him when he first came to New York City. तो रॉबिन्सन ने जोन्स को कहा कि मेरे पास सिर्फ 15 सेंट्स थे जब मैं पहली बार न्यूयॉर्क आया था. तो 15 सेंट्स इज अ वेरी वेरी लो अमाउंट. 15 सेंट्स इज अ वेरी लो अमाउंट. जैसे आज के दिन में यू सी इन टुडेज days, if somebody says that I only had 100 rupee with me when I first came to Mumbai, okay, 100 rupees means nothing. Okay, you won't be able to survive even for 2-3 days in such an expensive world, right? So Robinson said that I had only 15 cents, and Robinson also said that he had to sleep in a tar barrel. All of you know, it's a drum kind of a thing. Okay, it's a drum kind of a thing, and inside the tar barrel Robinson used to sleep. So his days were full of struggles actually. His initial days were full of struggle. उसका जो इनिशियल डेज था वो बहुत स्ट्रगलिंग था. वो 15 सेंट्स लेके आया था न्यूयॉर्क में पहली बार, और वो सोता कहाँ था? ही यूज्ड टू स्लीप इन अ टार बैरल. वो टार बैरल में सोता था. ठीक है, तो फुल ऑफ स्ट्रगल. सो रॉबिन्सन एक्चुअली इनडायरेक्टली ही इंसल्टेड जोन्स. रॉबिन्सन जो है वो इनडायरेक्टली जोन्स को ये इंसल्ट कर रहा है, क्या कह के by saying that a man like Jones, who is used to luxury life, can never know the difficulties of sleeping in a tar barrel. So Robinson is indirectly telling Jones that you will never know the difficulties of sleeping in a tar barrel because you are quite used to a luxury life. ये तुम तो कभी टार बैरल में कितना डिफिकल्टीज होता है. हाउ हार्ड इट इज टू स्लीप इन अ टार बैरल. कितना डिफिकल्टी, मुश्किल होता है एक बैरल में सोना रात को, और वो भी ठंड वाला रात. क्योंकि इतना सोना इतना डिफिकल्ट होता है कि तुम कभी नहीं समझोगे, क्योंकि तुम तो अमीर हो, यू आर रिच एंड यू आर हैबिचुएटेड विथ अ लग्जरी लाइफ. तुम तो एक लग्जरी लाइफ में हैबिचुएटेड हो, तो तुम कभी नहीं समझोगे. ठीक है, तो जोन्स गुस्सा हो जाता है. जोन्स बिकम्स एंग्री. सो इन रिप्लाई जोन्स टेल्स रॉबिन्सन दैट ही वाज मेकिंग अ मिस्टेक इन सेइंग दैट. तो जोन्स जो है वो रिप्लाई में रॉबिन्सन को कहते हैं, नहीं रॉबिन्सन, इट इज नॉट लाइक दैट. यू आर मेकिंग अ मिस्टेक बाय टेलिंग that I will never know the difficulties of sleeping in a tar barrel because I myself I have also struggled in my initial life. मैंने भी अपने initial life में बहुत struggle किया था. तो Robinson, please don't tell this thing to me, okay? And here you see that, and had no idea that he मतलब Jones too had struggled in the beginning. तो जोन्स ये रिप्लाई में कहता है कि मैंने भी स्ट्रगल किया था, सिर्फ तुमने अकेले जो है, यू अलोन डिड नॉट स्ट्रगल इन योर इनिशियल स्टेज. आई हैव ऑल्सो स्ट्रगल व्हेन आई फर्स्ट केम टू न्यूयॉर्क. सो नेवर से दैट. तो ये कभी मत कहना कि मैं स्ट्रगल नहीं जानता हूँ, दैट आई डू नॉट नो अबाउट स्ट्रगल्स एंड हार्डशिप्स. मैंने खुद भी एक्सपीरियंस किया है जब मैं बिगिनिंग में न्यूयॉर्क आया था. एंड देन जोन्स बिगिन्स हिज स्टोरी. हाउ सी जोन्स बिगिन्स हिज स्टोरी बाय सेइंग व्हाट. जोन्स ये कहता है कि when I first came to New York, when Jones first came to New York, he didn't even have a cent in his pocket. तो at least you see Robinson had 15 cents. Robinson के पास तो at least 15 cents था, लेकिन Jones says that तुम्हारे पास तो at least 15 cents था, with which you could have survived for few days. But I did not even have a cent in my pocket. जब मैं पहली बार न्यूयॉर्क आया मेरे पास एक पैसा भी नहीं था. Okay? Ratster, hello. Beast X Pro Gaming, hello. Okay, so जोन जो है गुस्से में ये कहता है. Then you see, moreover, months after months, Jones had slept in an old piano box behind a factory. तो जोन्स ये कहता है कि you used to sleep in a tar barrel, and look at me, I used to sleep in an old piano box which was behind a factory, and that too months after months. Okay, बहुत दिन बहुत महीना मैंने एक ओल्ड पियानो बॉक्स में रात बिताया. आई यूज्ड टू स्लीप देयर. एंड जोन्स ऑल्सो एडेड, जोन्स ये कहता है दैट स्लीपिंग इन अ टार बैरल वाज मच मोर कंफर्टेबल दैन स्लीपिंग इन अ पियानो बॉक्स ऑन कोल्ड विंटर नाइट्स. तो जोन्स एक्चुअली रॉबिन्सन को कहता है कि दैट यू यूज्ड टू स्लीप इन अ टार बैरल, दैट इज मोर कंफर्टेबल, बट स्लीपिंग इन अ ओल्ड पियानो बॉक्स, स्लीपिंग इन एन ओल्ड पियानो बॉक्स इज मच मोर यू सी डिफिकल्ट. तो टार बैरल में सोना तो कुछ भी नहीं है. दैट यूज्ड टू स्लीप इन अ टार बैरल इज एक्चुअली नथिंग. ओके, जस्ट लेट मी चेक माय कनेक्शन. ओके, ऑलराइट. सो जोन्स ये कहता है कि टार बैरल में सोना तो फिर भी बहुत इजी है, लेकिन अगर तुमने पियानो बॉक्स में सोया होता है एंड दैट ऑन कोल्ड विंटर नाइट्स, तब तुमको पता चलता है कि स्ट्रगल किसे कहते हैं, हार्डशिप किसे कहते हैं. ठीक है, तो एक्चुअली क्या है कि रॉबिन्सन एंड जोन्स आर ट्राइंग टू आउट डू वन अनदर. आउट डू का मतलब है कि दे आर ट्राइंग टू प्रूव, ईच ऑफ देम दे आर ट्राइंग टू प्रूव दैट माई लाइफ वॉज मोर डिफिकल्ट देन योर लाइफ. तो जोन्स इज ट्राइंग टू से दैट my life is more difficult than Robinson's life. Robinson is trying to say that his life was more difficult than Jones's life. तो दोनों जो है अपना लाइफ का स्ट्रगल जो है कंपेयर कर रहे हैं. दे आर कंपेयरिंग द स्ट्रगल्स ऑफ देयर लाइफ एक्चुअली. that they had faced in the beginning. Okay, ये एक funny चीज भी है, because in the end you see when the story ends there's a funny thing which is going to happen. Anyways, let's continue first. Then the two men started talking of draughts मतलब यहाँ पे wind, air, okay, current. So then the two men started talking of draughts. In fact, they started comparing that who had struggled more or whose life had been more difficult. This is what I just said to all of you, that both the men are trying to prove that my life was more difficult than your life. So this is the comparison going on. ठीक है, तो वो दोनों अब जो है विंड के बारे में बात कर रहे थे. दैट कोल्ड नाइट्स, यू नो, ड्यूरिंग कोल्ड नाइट्स चिलिंग विंड वुड ब्लो, बहुत ठंडी हवा जो है वो चलता है और डिफिकल्टी होता है रात को सोने में. इट इज़ वेरी डिफिकल्ट टू स्लीप एट नाइट. एंड यू सी बोथ मेन try to outdo the other. Outdo matlab they are comparing and trying to prove that my life, actually you see in real life it is ulta. We say for example you meet your friend, so you'll try to show off that I have 2 cars. Then your friend would say that 2 cars, I have 4 cars, right? So you try to show off. But here in this story this case is ulta. This case is just opposite. They are trying to prove their struggles. Normally people don't do this. Normally people try to prove that how comfortable their life is, how better their life is, how much money they have, how many cars they have. Okay, but in this story this case is ulta. Okay, वो साबित करना चाहते हैं, they want to prove that how poor I was. Generally we prove that how rich I am, right? But here in this story they are trying to prove that how poor they was, what kind of hardship they had faced in their life. Then you see Robinson said that it was comfortable to sleep in a piano box. अब Robinson उल्टा कहता है. Jones says that it is comfortable to sleep in a open tar barrel. You know, the top is empty and wind would enter in, right? So it would be very cold at night. So at least in the piano box, so you used to have that lid that could be closed. But यहाँ पे तो ऐसा case नहीं है. In my case, so my life is more, you know, was more difficult than yours. This is what Robinson is saying. ठीक है? I hope all of you are understanding this. अब Jones is negating the fact. Jones is telling no. Piano box though is difficult and sleeping in a tar barrel was much more comfortable. So what is Jones saying? You see, Jones negated this and said that in the evening when he would study in the piano box, the draught, meaning the cold wind, would blow snow in a foot deep. तो Jones ये कहता है कि see, Robinson, in the evening when I would sit here inside the piano box to study, this chilling wind actually would blow snow, and that snow would fill my piano box at least a foot deep. एक पैर तक जो है पूरा बर्फ घुस जाता था अंदर, स्नो घुस जाता था अंदर इस ड्रॉट की वजह से, इस ठंडी हवा के वजह से. एंड आई कुडंट स्टडी. ठीक है, तुम्हारा तो फिर भी कोई दिक्कत नहीं था तुमको टार बैरल में. ओके, बट स्टिल जोन्स कंसिडर्ड दोज डेज ऑफ स्ट्रगल एज हिज हैप्पीएस्ट डेज. बट जोन्स ये कहता है फिर कि सी आई हैव स्ट्रगल्ड इन माय अर्लियर डेज, लेकिन बट स्टिल यू सी आई स्टिल कंसिडर दोज डेज ऑफ स्ट्रगल एज माय हैप्पीएस्ट डेज. आई डोंट एक्चुअली फील सैड फॉर दोज days actually that I have struggled. Generally people feel very sad when they struggle, feel depressed when they struggle, but Jones is saying no, I'm happy. I'm when I remember about those struggling days, I now feel that actually those were my happiest days. Now in what sense he's saying happiest, he only knows. Actually you see he's trying to, again you see the same thing, he's trying to prove that my life was more difficult than your life. And Robinson is telling ulta that no, your life was much more comfortable, my life is more difficult than your life. So this is the thing that is going on here. Okay, then now you see Jones now insulted Robinson again. So Jones फिर से जो है Robinson को insult करता है and said that he would never be able to stand that kind of hard life. अब Jones again now he insulted Robinson, saying that you see Robinson, the kind of life that I have spent, you will never be able to bear. You will never be able to stand that kind of hard life. I'm telling you, I'm challenging you. Okay. And now Robinson is becoming angry. अब Robinson कहता है कि पूनम hello, yes, thank you, thanks to you too for asking me to make the video. Okay, all the best for your exam. Those who have exams tomorrow, all the best. Additional English exams. Okay, all the best. I'll try to complete the this explanation as fast as possible because we have to give revisions also. ओके, तो इतना तक समझ में आ गया. नाउ जोन्स इंसल्टेड रॉबिन्सन. लुक एट रॉबिन्सन्स रिप्लाई. Okay, this story is almost towards the end only. Now Robinson became very angry. Robinson बहुत गुस्सा हो जाता है. Robinson becomes very angry and says that he wanted the old days of hardships because he too enjoyed it. अब Robinson कहता है कि Jones, you consider your days of struggle as the happiest days. I also consider my days of struggle as the happiest days. And I want those old days of hardship back again because I have enjoyed them too. तो जोन्स की तरह रॉबिन्सन भी ये कहता है. अब जोन्स की कोई चैलेंज कर रहा है. अब रॉबिन्सन कहाँ पीछे रहने वाला था. रॉबिन्सन भी चैलेंज कर रहा है कि नो, मैं भी अपना पुराना दिन जो है वो स्ट्रगलिंग वाला दिन, वो हार्डशिप वाला दिन, मैं भी फिर से वापस पाना चाहता हूँ. क्यों? क्योंकि मैं उसको एंजॉय करता था उस वक्त. ओके, आई यूज्ड टू एंजॉय दैट अ लॉट एंड आई वांट दोस ओल्ड डेज बैक अगेन. ठीक है. Now you see Robinson told Jones how he, अब उन लोगों का टॉपिक देखो. एक इसे one person is actually changing topics after topics, okay, and bringing in stories after stories. वो लोग कहानी के ऊपर कहानी बता रहे हैं अपने लाइफ के बारे में. They're going on telling stories after stories about their lives, about their struggling days. Okay, now see what Robinson is telling. Robinson told Jones how he and 2 or 3 other fellows would sit in the tar barrel and play Pedro. Pedro is actually cards. Okay, you know, you play cards na, patte khelna, cards, by candlelight. So used to lit candlelight and 2-3 other friends also would join and they would sit inside the tar barrel and play Pedro card game, and they would only lit a candlelight. Okay, they would lit only a candle. सिर्फ वो लोग मोमबत्ती जला के वहां पे पत्ते खेलते थे. ओके, रॉबिन्सन ये कहता है. और कितने दोस्त होते थे? हाउ मेनी फ्रेंड्स रॉबिन्सन वुड हैव? 2 to 3 फ्रेंड्स. नाउ जोन्स इज लाफिंग. 2 to 3 फ्रेंड्स. रॉबिन्सन इज लाफिंग एट, आई एम सॉरी, जोन्स इज लाफिंग एट रॉबिन्सन. अब जोन्स जो है कहाँ पीछे रहने वाला था. जोन्स इज नॉट गोइंग टू रिमेन क्वाइट. नाउ ही इज एक्चुअली ट्राइंग टू सरपास हिम, बिकॉज अगेन यू सी both are trying to prove no, my life was more difficult. Jones is laughing and Robinson is saying, you only had 2 to 3 friends, and look at me, I used to have supper with 6 people in that small piano box, and then afterwards play Pedro, charades, and then there is another game, actually 4 feet. There's a mistake here, wait. 4 feet, okay, FORFEITS. They used to play 4 feet. Now Pedro, you know, card game. Charades is like, हम लोग कहते हैं ना कि say you have a bowl in your hand and there are chits. So you pick a chit and whatever is written on the chit, you have to act according to that without speaking. And सामने वाला जो है, the person sitting in front of you would guess that topic, what is written on the dumb charade. हम लोग कहते हैं ना dumb charade. That dumb charade is actually the charades. Okay, and 4 feet is like, it's a game where you have to put your money and other things, okay, at a stake and then play that game. Okay, तो Pedro, charades, 4 feet ये खेलते थे, और वो भी 6 लोगों के साथ, with 6 people in that small piano box. Okay, so Jones is telling you only had 2-3 people. But look at me, I used to have 6 people with me in that small piano box. We used to have supper in the beginning and afterwards we used to play Pedro, charades, 4 feet. ठीक है. तो Jones is trying to prove that Robinson that 2-3 people is quite small. It's a very small number in that tar barrel. But in my small piano box, 6 people used to come and have supper there. So my life was more difficult than your life. Okay, it was uncomfortable. Okay, 6 लोगों के साथ खेलना, it was completely uncomfortable. Now Jones said that he had to eat potato peelings and broken pie crust. Now they suddenly changed the topic. Jones suddenly changes the topic. Now he comes to food. अब वो food के बारे में बात कर रहा है. अब Jones क्या कहता है कि I used to eat potato peelings. पोटैटो का जो छिलका होता है ना, द पीलिंग्स ऑफ द पोटैटो. आई यूज्ड टू ईट पोटैटो पीलिंग्स एंड ब्रोकन पाई क्रस्ट. पाई तो आपको पता है, स्मॉल पीस ऑफ केक वगैरह जो है, एंड दैट टू ब्रोकन स्मॉल पीस ऑफ केक Jones used to eat and potato peelings. So remember this, okay? Jones used to eat potato peelings and broken pie crust. Food that beggars, generally we give beggars to eat, no, this kind of food. So Jones used to eat these kind of food. So he's now coming to this topic of food and saying that the food that I used to eat was very bad. Now you see, Robinson is also going to prove something, in relation to food. अब food के बारे में Robinson भी कुछ ना कुछ तो कहेगा. See, now the two men started comparing the food they ate once. Okay, अब जो ये दो दोस्त है, दो लोग हैं, Robinson and Jones. Now they started comparing the food जो वो लोग एक टाइम पे खाते थे, that they used to eat once. And here also both men tried to outdo the other here too by trying to compare whose food was worse than the other. जो मैंने अभी कहा. Now the two are trying to compare their food and even trying to prove that my food was the worst than your food. So Jones is saying that the food that I used to eat, that was the worst, सबसे घटिया था. And on the other hand, Robinson is also telling that the food that I used to eat वो तुमसे भी घटिया था. Okay, it was worst, it was the worst than you also. Okay, so they are trying to now outdo one another, and the topic is food. Up hearing what Jones ate, Robinson said, "Up Jones क्या खाता था?" Jones used to eat potato peelings and broken pie crust. अब ये सुन के Robinson कहता है, Robinson says that I used to eat cold porridge, and that too, what kind of cold porridge? That somebody was going to throw away. कोई जब वो cold porridge फेंकने वाला होता था, that somebody was going to throw away, I used to eat that cold porridge. It wasn't cooked by me. Okay, somebody was going to throw and I used to bring that and eat that. Okay, so you see, my food was the worst, your food compared to your food. Okay, and Robinson goes on to say, you see that I had also begged for food which was given to pigs. जो पिग्स को दिया जाता था खाना, मैं वो भी मांग के जो है लेके आता था. I used to beg. I hope there is no connection problem. All right. Okay. So here you see Jones told the okay, I'm sorry. Just then the waiter arrived. अब ये जो है कहानी में एक twist आता है, देखिए. Now there is a twist in the story, and what is the twist? Now the waiter comes. The waiter now comes to take their order. The waiter भी आता है उन लोगों का order लेने. And the waiter asks both Robinson and Jones that what may I bring for your dinner, gentlemen? तो मैं डिनर के लिए आप लोगों के लिए क्या खाना लाऊं? अब जोन्स देखिए, जोन्स का रिप्लाई. लुक एट द रिप्लाई बाय जोन्स. जोन्स टोल्ड द वेटर टू ब्रिंग हिम सम कोल्ड पॉरिज और अ चंक ऑफ सॉल्ट पोर्क. तो सबसे घटिया खाना जो मैं खाया करता था एक टाइम पे, ओके, वो तुम लेके आओ मेरे लिए. एक्चुअली जोन्स डिड नॉट ईट कोल्ड पॉरिज. हु एट कोल्ड पॉरिज? Robinson ate cold porridge, right? And Robinson wanted to prove that his cold porridge was actually very, very bad. In fact, the worst as compared to Jones's food, which was potato peelings and broken pie crust. कि मेरा cold porridge तुम्हारे potato peelings और pie crust से भी घटिया था. तो इसीलिए जब वेटर आता है, when the waiter comes to take the order, जोन्स कहता है कि तुम जाओ मेरे लिए कोल्ड पॉरिज लेके आओ. यू गो एंड ब्रिंग कोल्ड पॉरिज फ्रॉम मी, और यू कैन ब्रिंग अ चंक ऑफ अ पीस ऑफ सॉल्ट पोर्क. ये लेके आओ मेरे लिए. क्यों? क्योंकि मन में उसका ये है, इट्स इनसाइड हिम दैट इफ रॉबिन्सन इज ट्राइंग टू प्रूव दैट रॉबिन्सन्स कोल्ड पॉरिज वाज लाइक, आई कैन नॉट ईट कोल्ड पॉरिज लाइक रॉबिन्सन. रॉबिन्सन जैसे कोल्ड पॉरिज खाया करता था, मैं ऐसे कोल्ड पॉरिज नहीं खा सकता. Let me prove him wrong that yes, I can also eat cold porridge. I still have the courage to eat cold porridge. Okay, so Jones is putting up a challenge actually. The waiter now turned towards Robinson for his order. A waiter confused. Now the waiter is also confused. Yes, there is connection problem, but I think it is solved now. I think it is solved now. Okay, so the waiter now turned towards Robinson for his order. तो waiter अभी जो है Jones का order उसने ले लिया. अब कोल्ड पॉरिज कहाँ रेस्टोरेंट में मिलेगा? वेयर विल यू फाइंड कोल्ड पॉरिज इन रेस्टोरेंट? सो नाउ रॉबिन्सन, द वेटर टर्न टुवर्ड्स रॉबिन्सन. अब रॉबिन्सन की तरफ मुड़ा और कहा कि सर आपका ऑर्डर. रॉबिन्सन टोल्ड हिम, यू ब्रिंग फॉर मी कोल्ड पॉरिज टू. तुम भी मेरे लिए कोल्ड पॉरिज लेके आओ. and you also bring potato peelings and a glass of skim milk. तुम मेरे लिए जो है पोटैटो पीलिंग्स भी लेके आओ, तुम कोल्ड पॉरिज भी लेके आओ, बिकॉज आई वांट टू शो माय फ्रेंड दैट आई कैन ईट कोल्ड पॉरिज. And you bring potato peelings also for me, because Jones used to eat potato peelings, and I want to show you, I want to show my friend Jones that I can also eat potato peelings. मैं भी potato peelings खा सकता हूँ, तुम चाहो मेरे लिए लेके आओ. You go and bring potato peelings, cold porridge from me, and bring me a glass of skim milk. Skim milk मतलब वो मिल्क के ऊपर एक लेयर पड़ता है ना क्रीम का, that cream layer. Okay, skim matlab that cream would be missing from the milk. Only normal milk would be there, and that milk doesn't taste good actually. वो milk जिसमें cream ना हो, वो milk उतना tasty नहीं होता है. तो skim milk मतलब milk without cream. Okay. Now here you see, after having given their orders, अब दोनों ने अपना order दे दिया. अब there is silence. Okay, there is silence. There is a pause now. Now the two men looked at one another. Actually, inside you see, maybe they used to eat these kind of food once upon a time, but now they are not habituated. Now they have a very luxurious life to live. अभी दोनों का जो life बहुत rich life है. Their life is very rich. Now the two men had given their orders: cold porridge, potato peelings, a glass of milk without cream. And now these two men are actually not confident that whether they would be able to eat this kind of food, which generally poor people and beggars they eat. These two men are feeling that whether we will be able to eat this kind of food or not. Now Robinson, here you see, now Robinson turned slowly towards the waiter. Now he stopped the waiter actually. The waiter ruko thoda. And waiter was muttering the order softly. No, let's give me potato peelings, cold porridge. Okay. He was muttering the orders that he had taken down, right? So now you see that Robinson called the waiter now. Okay, waiter, ruko, wait. And Robinson actually frowned and changed his order. So Robinson after order change kar diya. And look at his order now. Look at Robinson's order now. From a very poor kind of food, okay, from a very poor kind of food, now he is ordering something which is very rich and luxurious. What did he order? He now ordered hot porridge, oyster, soup, fish, Stilton. Stilton means cheese, grape or walnut. These are all expensive, items. Okay, and Robinson ordered these now. And the confused waiter now understood that even Jones would change his order. So he turned towards Jones. And Jones said that, yes, I will also take the same food that Robinson had ordered. And he told the waiter that you also bring the same food that my friend Robinson had ordered, but you add champagne with the order. So champagne bhi jo hai tum, champagne is a very expensive drink, very, very expensive drink. So champagne bhi tum jo hai, tum is order ke saath, along with this order, you bring champagne also for me. Okay, you also bring champagne for me. Now you see, after that incident, that restaurant wala incident, after that incident, at present, whenever Robinson and Jones met, they never talked of their early days of struggle. Both are ashamed of one another. Amplification मैंने already upload कर दिया है, Ragnarok YT. Class 10 के लिए मैंने already amplification के ऊपर video बनाया है. You can check my grammar and composition playlist. In the description, I will put the playlist of grammar and composition. You can go and check the list of amplifications that I have given. Some of the amplification never came in the exam, so you can pay little attention to those amplifications. I have given star marks there. Okay, okay, let's come to the story. It's over already. Actually, after that restaurant wala incident, whenever Jones and Robinson met on the way, on the road or somewhere, they never talked of their early days of struggle, because both are now ashamed of one another. Robinson was telling, I used to eat this kind of food, I used to sleep in tar barrel and this and that. Jones used to say that I used to sleep in piano box, I used to use potato peelings, this and that. All very bad kind of things, experience I have in my life. But the food they ordered from the waiter, जो खाना उन्होंने waiter को order दिया, waiter को order करके जो खाना उन्होंने मंगवाया, that does not show. वो तो show ही नहीं करता है कि कभी एक ज़माने में, you know, sometimes back in their life, early days, they had eaten this kind of food. Now they don't eat. So they were boasting actually. वो लोग जो है फेंक रहे थे, हम लोग कहते हैं ना फेंकना, we say boasting. So they were actually boasting maybe of their life. So now whenever they meet, they never talk of their early days of struggle. Even they never talk of that piano box, barrel, that I was sleeping piano box, I was sleeping tar barrel. No discussions about that. Even if they meet, they talk about normal things. Never about their early days of life, because dono sharminda hai. Both are ashamed of what they had talked and afterwards what they had ordered from the waiter. तो यही है कहानी, बहुत एक humorous कहानी. It's a very humorous story. Okay, ending is very nice. So this is the story. Okay, so I hope all of you have understood the story. It's almost 10:31 now. Please study nicely. Tomorrow you have exams. Pay concentration. Okay, if you want to watch the video, you can watch once again. Okay, I won't make you wait for long. Okay, so finally, goodbye to all. Would you like to say something? Okay, if you'd like to say something, I'll just wait for 2-3 seconds. Not 2-3 seconds. Sorry. I'll wait for a few seconds for your response. If it is okay, then I will end the video with a final goodbye then. I'm looking at your messages. Karan, okay, thank you. Okay, fine. If you've understood the story is simple. Okay, just give a book reading. Okay, I would like to suggest to you that you give a book reading. Okay, Shivam also. All right. So you can follow me on Instagram also. I'm there on Instagram, Omni Gyan. Okay, I have a website also, omnigyan.blogspot.com. You will get all the notes there. I'm uploading the notes slowly. I'm there on Facebook also. Please follow me on Facebook also. Okay, follow me on Instagram. Follow me on Facebook. I'm there on YouTube also. Please subscribe to the channel. Invite your friends also to subscribe to the channel, like, and please share my videos. Okay, share my videos as much as you can. It will help the other students also, class 9, 10. Even I'm bringing videos for 11 and 12 also. This will remove, I did not understand, Shiva. This will remove in the sense. You're talking of this video, whether it will get removed. I can't understand. I mean, you're saying that this live video will get removed. Yes, you can watch as much as you can. It won't get removed. It will be there only. It will be there only. It will be there on my channel. Just go to my this thing. Just visit my channel. Okay, just visit my channel, and after visiting my channel, you'll find video section. Go to the video section and check the live videos. Okay, live videos and uploaded videos, there's a difference. Live and non-live videos, there's a difference. So if you don't find it in the video list, you open the video section and go to the click on the live streaming video section, LIVE live. You'll get the video there. It will be there permanently. Don't worry. Okay, so finally I'm ending the class then. With love from me and from my channel, Omni Gyan, I wish all the best to all the students, and I wish especially to those who are having exams tomorrow. Okay, all the best to all of you. Best of luck. And with love, Omni Gyan, thank you so much. Okay, so a final goodbye to all of you. Good night.